Okay, so we are still in our chapter 2, right? Planting the seed. So I'm not going to ask what we covered yesterday. Rather, I'll ask some questions and I would want all of you to volunteer an answer. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, very nice.
Yes, Mataji.
So all the questions will be relevant to what we covered yesterday in yesterday's class. So in yesterday's class, we covered a lot of things, right? If you have to summarize it all as to what is that one major uh, topic about which we were reading a lot yesterday. If you have to summarize it in one word.
Initiation.
Initiation. Initiation.
Initiation, right? Okay, very nice. Now, so what was the occasion for which people were gearing up yesterday when we started the class? That's what we read first. What was the festival or occasion for which people were getting ready?
Janmashtami.
Krishna Janmashtami.
Along with Srila Prabhupada? Very nice, very nice. Haribol. Janmashtami. Okay, and what was happening on Janmashtami? Anyone wants to narrate that particular part? So in the previous Janmashtami, in the previous year, where was Prabhupada celebrating his Janmashtami?
Jaladuta.
Mataji. Colombo.
Very nice. And now this year, what is different in Janmashtami? What is
He
happening?
was getting ready with his disciples for chanting, reading, then discussing on Krishna's pastimes and birth, and also eating prasadam later at night after the puja and all.
Haribol. Very nice, Lakshmi Mataji. Beautifully narrated. Okay. So the Prabhupada wouldn't have even imagined, no, last previous year while he was coming in Jaladutta, he had no clue what I'm going to do in the foreign land. And next year, he's celebrating Janmashtami with his devotees in a completely new land where he knew nobody. So that's the power of Krishna. Miracles happen. Very nice. Now, they were also gearing up for the initiation, right? That was another important thing we were talking about. So, what does initiation refer to as? I mean, how was it explained?
It's like surrendering to the spiritual master and treating him like, and doing service to him like God.
Yeah, like God. Okay. And why were everyone shocked hearing to this statement?
Because by taking initiation, they must not do any offense of like four regulative principles, Mataji.
Prabhupada was always against that Mayavadi philosophy that I am God.
That is at a later stage. Yes.
Krishna.
Yes, Sharmila Mataji, go ahead.
But then suddenly,
Yeah, because for weeks he had stressed that when anyone claims to be God, he should be considered a dog. And now suddenly he says you have to worship the spiritual master as good as God. So they are
As God. Very nice.
confused. Yeah.
And very true. And finally, what was the explanation given by Srila Prabhupada? Why did he say that a spiritual master has to be considered as God? How did he clarify that to Welly, Howard, Keith, and all the devotees?
one guru is somebody who will connect you to Krishna.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone
And he
wants to
can
add?
deliver, he's as good as God because he can deliver God to the sincere disciple.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's a representative of the God.
God. And so he has to be treated with due respect to God. So that's what he said. Very nice. Haribol to all of you. Now, another interesting thing we read yesterday, what I could recollect is about the beads, right? So 108 beads, they were chaining it and all that was happening. So anyone wants to narrate that small portion? What were they doing with the beads? Anyone remembers?
They will bead it and they chant Mahamantra once, then they put the double knot, and then again they chant. Yeah.
Very nice. Haribol. And the significance of 108 we read in the previous class itself. Why? Anyone remembers? Why the number 108? And not
108
1000?
and
Yes,
the
Mother.
number of gopis. The
Principal gopis.
Yeah.
108 principal gopis.
Very nice. So 108 Upanishads and 108 gopis. Very nice. Okay, then what happened? Okay, so how many? So one round was, so it's basically chanting 108 is considered to be one round. So how many rounds did Srila Prabhupada say that anyone should do a day?
16.
64.
Yeah, both are right. So he initially said 64. Then what happened?
32.
People were
Then
wondering. So he was saying people in India used to chant at least 64 rounds. Then another person said, no, I heard Prabhupada saying 32 rounds. Then finally, what happened? Prabhupada said, bare minimum
16.
at least 16 rounds you have to do, right? Haribol. So,
You're fallen. Otherwise, if you're not doing 16 at least, then you're a fallen soul.
yes, very nice, Mataji. Haribol. Beautiful. So, this was another interesting thing we read. And how did the initiation ceremony happen? Anyone wants to narrate that part? What exactly happened?
First, shaving their heads. Before initiation, shaving their heads, and then
Shaving heads, Prabhuji?
shaving
Sorry.
their heads. Before initiation, they have to shave their heads.
But did they really shave, Prabhuji, in the West?
No,
No.
it is not done.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, and what else happened? Anyone
Prabhupada
would like to
came
add?
down around 6 o'clock for the normal aarti, and then there was fire sacrifice like that, and they were chanting one mantra. Mataji, I'm not getting the word used, chanted yesterday, no? Pavitra something.
Yeah.
And they were all sitting close by, 11 disciples there, and they were somehow managing to put the words and say, and yeah, Mataji.
Very nice. Haribol. So I'll just share my screen. So this was the mantra which he chanted. I'm just see, this is the mantra he said. He told it's a Vedic mantra of purification. It's a very beautiful mantra with the translation unpurified or purified, or even having passed through all situations, one who remembers the lotus eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead is cleansed within and without. So 3 times he repeated, sipping water and drone of Hare Krishna mantra filling the room as the goblet passed from initiate to initiate and back again to him. And 3 times he led the chanting of this mantra. Then he raised a hand, and then as the buzzing of the chanting trailed off into silence, he started his lecture. Then after that, what happened? After the lecture, he again asked the devotees one by one to hand him their beads and started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Everyone repeated the chanting, and after finishing one strand, he was stating how to chant. He was showing them how to chant. Then he announced the initial spiritual name, and then the disciple would take back the beads, bow to the floor, and recite Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Iti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. So totally, how many people took initiation that day?
11.
11.
11, right? I have 11 initiates. So 11 sets of beads, and chanting went for over an hour. Then Swamiji gave each boy a strand of neck beads, which he said were like dog collars, identifying the devotee as Krishna's dog. Right? So beautifully said. Haribol. Nice. So we'll continue with this. All right. So whoever would like to read, you can raise your hands. We will start. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. After Valley, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone. After Valley received his beads and his new name, Umapati, he returned to his place beside her word and said, "That was wonderful. Getting your beads is wonderful." In turn, each initiate received his beads and his spiritual name. Howard became Hayagriva. Valley became Umapati. Bill became Ravindra Swarupa. Kal became Kalapati. James became Jagannatha. Mike became Mukunda. Jan became Janaki. Roy became Raya Rama. And Stanley became Sriyadisha. Sriyadisha. Another Stanley, a Brooklyn boy with a job, and Janice, a college student from Montreal, both of whom had rather peripheral relationship with the Swami, appeared that night and took initiation with the rest, receiving the names Satyavrata and Janardana. Then Swamiji began the fire sacrifice by sprinkling the colored dyes across the mound of earth before him. With fixed attention, his congregation watched each mysterious move as he picked up the twigs and wooden splinters, dipped them into clarified butter, lit them in a candle flame, and built a small fire in the center of the mound. He mixed sesame seeds, barley, and clarified butter in a bowl and then passed the mixture around. Each new disciple took a handful of the mixture to offer into the fire. He then began to recite Sanskrit prayers, asking everyone to repeat them, each prayer ending with the responsive chanting of the word Swaha 3 times. And with Swaha, the initiates would toss some of the sesame barley mixture into the fire. Swamiji kept pouring butter, piling up wood, and chanting more prayers until the mound was blazing. The prayers kept coming, and the butter kept pouring, and the fire got larger, and the room got hotter. After 15 or 20 minutes, Swamiji asked each of the initiates to place a banana in the fire. With 11 bananas heaped in the fire, the flames began to die and the smoke thickened. A few of the initiates got up and ran coughing into the other room, and the guests retreated into the hallway. But Swamiji went on pouring the remaining butter and seeds into the fire. "This kind of smoke does not disturb," he said. "Other smoke disturbs, but this kind of smoke does not." Even though everyone's eyes were watering with irritation, he asked that the windows remain closed. So most of the smoke was contained within the apartment and no neighbors complained. Shall I continue or stop, Mataji?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Haribol. Praveen Prabhuji, I see you've raised your hand.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Haribol to you. Thanks for coming.
Welcome
And
Mataji. Can I read?
go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Swamiji smiled broadly, rose from his seat before the sacrificial fire, the blazing tongue of Vishnu, and began clapping his hands and chanting Hare Krishna. Placing one foot before the other and swaying from side to side, he began to dance before the fire. His disciples joined him in the dancing and chanting, and the smoke abated. He had each disciple touch his beads. He had each disciple touch his beads to the feet of Lord Chaitanya and the Panchatattva picture on the table, and finally he allowed the windows opened. As the ceremony was finished and the air in the apartment was clearing, I allowed the windows open as the ceremony was finished and the air in the apartment was clearing. Swamiji began to laugh. There was so much smoke, I thought they might have to call the fire brigade. Swamiji was happy. He arranged that prasadam be distributed to all the devotees and guests. The fire, the prayers, the vows, and everyone chanting Hare Krishna had all created an auspicious atmosphere. Things were going forward. Now there were initiated devotees in the Western world. Finally, most of the disciples went home to their apartments, leaving the spiritual master to clean up after the initiation ceremony. 3 days later, Swamiji performed his first marriage between two disciples, Mukunda and Janaki. With a similar ceremony, he was satisfied. He was introducing some of the major elements of his Krishna. On of his Krishna consciousness mission, he had initiated disciples, he had married them, and he feasted the public with Krishna Prasadam. If I had the means, he told his followers, I could hold a major festival like this every day. On Radhashtami, the appearance of Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna's eternal concert, Prabhupada held his second initiation. His Brahmananda and Chak became Achyutananda. It was another festive day with a fire sacrifice in Prabhupada's friend room and a big feast. Alan Ginsberg lived nearby on East 10th Street. One day, he received a peculiar invitation in the mail. Practice the transcendental sound vibration Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This chanting will cleanse the dust from the mirror of the mind. International Society for Krishna Consciousness meetings at 7 a.m. daily. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. You are cordially invited to come and bring your friends. Swamiji had asked the boys to contribute the leaflet around this neighborhood.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna
much.
Pranam.
Danvat
One evening,
Danvat Pranams Mataji.
Pranam Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. We'll allow someone else to read and then we'll come back to you. Very
Sure,
nice.
Mataji. Sure.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Mataji.
Sharmila Mataji, you can continue next, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One evening, soon after he received the invitation, Allen Ginsberg and his roommate Peter Orlovsky arrived at the storefront in Volkswagen minibus. Allen had been captivated by the Hare Krishna mantra several years before, when he had just first encountered it at the Kumbh Mela festival in Allahabad, India, and he had been chanting it often ever since. The devotees were impressed to see the world-famous author of Howl and leading figure of the Beat generation enter their humble storefront. His advocacy of free sex, marijuana, and LSD, his claims of drug-induced visions of spirituality in everyday sights, his political ideas, his exploration of insanity, revolt, nakedness, and his attempts to create a harmony of like-minded souls. All were influential on the minds of American young people, especially those living on the Lower East Side. Although by middle class standards he was scandalous and disheveled, he was in his own right a figure of worldly repute, more so than anyone who had ever come to the storefront before. Alan and Peter had come for the Kirtana, but it wasn't quite time. Somaji hadn't come down. They presented a new harmonium to the devotees. It's for the Kirtanas, said Alan. A little donation. Alan stood at the entrance to the storefront talking with Hayagriva, telling him how he had been chanting Hare Krishna around the world at peace marches, poetry readings, a procession in Prague, a writers' union in Moscow, secular, secular kirtana, said Alan, but Hare Krishna nonetheless. When Prabhupada entered, Alan and Peter sat with the congregation and joined in the kirtana. Alan played harmonium. Swamiji reciprocated by nodding his head and folding his palms. After the kirtana, they talked together briefly, and then Swamiji returned to his apartment. Alan mentioned to Hayagriva that he would like to come by again and talk more with the Swami. So Hayagriva invited him to come the next day and stay for lunch, prasadam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Muttumanikam Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji. Don't you think Swamiji is a little too esoteric for New York? Alan asked. Agriva thought, maybe, he replied. Agriva then asked Alan to help Swamiji. Since his visa would soon expire, he had entered the country with a visa for a 2-month stay, and he had been extending his visa for 2 more months again and again. This had gone on for 1 year, but the last time he had applied for an extension, he had been refused. We need an immigration lawyer, said Hayagriva. I will donate to that, Alan assured him. The next morning, Alan Ginsberg came by with a check and another harmonium. Up in Prabhupada's apartment, he demonstrated his melody for chanting Hare Krishna. And then he and Swamiji talked. Alan, I was a little shy with him because I don't know where he was coming from. I had that harmonium I wanted to donate, and I had a little money. I thought it was a great now that he was here to expound on the Hare Krishna mantra that would shut up justify my thinking. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't have any theological background to satisfy further inquiries. And here was someone who did. So I thought that was absolutely great. Now I could go around singing Hare Krishna, and if anybody wanted to know I could just send them to Swami Bhaktivedanta to find out. If anyone wanted to know the technical intricacies and the ultimate history, I would send them to him. He explained to me about his own teacher and about Chaitanya and the lineage going back. His head was filled with so many things and what he was doing. He was already working on his translation. He always seemed to be sitting there just a day after day and night after night. And I think he had one and or two people helping him. Swamiji was very cordial with Alan, quoting a passage from Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that whatever a great man does, others will follow. He requested Alan to continue chanting Hare Krishna at every opportunity so that others would follow his example. He told about Lord Chaitanya's organizing the first civil disobedience movement in India, heading a Sankirtana protest march against the Muslim ruler. Alan was fascinated. He enjoyed talking with the Swami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to read? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shweta Mataji. on. Ekambar Prabhuji, would you like to read?
No, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to read?
Shall
Hare
I read,
Krishna.
Mataji? Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Alan. The main thing above and beyond all our differences was an aroma of sweetness that he had, a personal, selfless sweetness like total devotion. And that was what always conquered me. Whatever intellectual questions or doubts I had, or even cynical views of ego, in his presence there was a kind of personal charm coming from dedication that conquered all our conflicts. Even though I didn't agree with him, I always liked to be with him. Swamiji lived amid the drug culture in a neighborhood where the young people were almost desperately attempting to alter their consciousness, whether by drugs or by some other means, whatever was available. Swamiji assured them that they could easily achieve the higher consciousness they desired by chanting Hare Krishna. It was inevitable that in explaining Krishna consciousness, he would make allusions to the drug experience, even if only to show that the two were contrary paths. He was familiar already with Indian sadhus who took ganja and hashish on the plea of aiding their meditations. And even before he had left India, hippie tourists had become a familiar sight on the streets of Delhi. The hippies liked India because of the cultural mystic and easy access to drugs. They would meet their Indian counterparts who assured them that taking hashish was spiritual, and then they would return to America and perpetrate their misconceptions of Indian spiritual culture. It was a way of life. The local head shops carried a full line of paraphernalia: marijuana, LSD, peyote, cocaine, and hard drugs like heroin and barbiturates were easily purchased on the streets and in the parks. Underground newspapers reported important news on the drug scene, featured a cartoon character named Captain High, and ran crossword puzzles that only a seasoned head could answer. Swamiji had to teach that Krishna consciousness was beyond the reserve reward LSD trip. Do you think taking LSD can produce ecstasy and higher consciousness? He once asked the storefront audience. Then just imagine a room full of LSD. Krishna consciousness is like that. People would regularly come in and ask Swamiji's disciple, "Do you get high from this?" And the would answer, "Oh, yes, you can get high just by chanting. Why don't you try it?" Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very nice. Anyone else would like to read? You can raise your hands.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pushpa Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji. You can raise your hands also, Mataji.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go
Hare
ahead,
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Probably the most famous experiments with LSD in those days were by Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, Harvard psychology instructor who studied the effect of the drug, published their finding in professional journal and advocated the use of LSD for self-realization and fulfillment. After being fired from Harvard, Timothy Leary went to become a national priest of LSD and for some time ran an LSD commune in Millbrook, New York. When the members of the commune heard about the Swami on the Lower East Side, who led his followers in a chant that got you high, they began visiting the storefront. One night, a group of about 10 hippies from Millbrook came to Swamiji's kirtan. They all chanted, not so much as so much in worship of Krishna as to see what kind of high the chanting could produce. And after the lecture, a Millbrook leader asked about drugs. Prabhupada replied that drugs were not necessary for a spiritual life. They could not produce spiritual consciousness, and that all drugs induced religiousness visions were simply hallucinations. To realize God was not so easy or cheap that one could do it just by taking a pill or smoking. Chanting Hare Krishna, he explained, was a purifying process to uncover one's pure consciousness. Taking drugs would increase the covering the war one from self-realization. But have you ever taken LSD? The question now become a challenge. No, Swamiji replied. I have never taken any of these drugs, not even cigarette or tea. If you haven't taken it, then how can you say what it is? The Millbrookers looked around smiling. Two or three even burst out with laughter, laughter and they snapped their fingers, thinking the Swamiji had been checkmate. I have not taken, Swamiji replied regally from his dais. But my disciples have taken all these things, marijuana, LSD, and many times, and they have given them all up. You can hear from them. Hagrid, you can speak. And Hagrid sat up a little and spoke about in his stational best.
Thank you,
Mataji,
Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna,
Very
Mataji.
nice. Hare Krishna. Very nice. We'll just read one more page and then we'll continue tomorrow. Who would like to read Hare Krishna? Anyone would like to read?
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Praveen Prabhuji has also raised hand.
No problem, Mataji.
No problem,
Thank you.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Let Prabhu read, Mataji. I'll read tomorrow. No problem, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good
You
morning.
can hear from them Hayagriva. You can speak. And Hayagriva sat up a little and spoke out in his Stendorian best. Well, no matter how high you go on LSD, you eventually reach a peak and then you have to come back down, just like traveling into outer space in a rocket ship. He gave one of Swamiji's familiar example. Your spacecraft can travel very far away from the Earth for thousands of miles day after day, but it cannot simply go on traveling and traveling. Eventually, it must land, and on LSD, we experience going up, but we always have to come down again. That's not spiritual consciousness. When you actually attain spiritual or Krishna consciousness, you stay high because you go to Krishna. You don't have to come down. You can stay high forever. Swamiji was sitting in his back room with Hayagriva and Umabadi and other disciples. The evening meeting had just ended, and the visitors from Millbrook had gone. Krishna consciousness is so nice, Swamiji. Umabadi spoke up. You just get higher and higher, and you don't come down. Swamiji smiled. Yes, that's right. No more coming down, Umavati said, laughing, and the other also beginning to laugh. Some clapped their hands, repeating, no more coming down. The conversational inspired Hagriva and Umavati to produce a new handbill. Stay high forever, no more coming down. Practice Krishna consciousness. Expand your consciousness by practicing the transcendental sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol Prabhuji. So nice. It was coming down and telling us this. And you, the way you said, stay high forever, no more coming down, is literally getting goosebumps. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice. Hari Bol to you. So beautiful, no? See what all Krishna is doing in the West. The magic has started to, happen. See how beautifully these devotees he is making people there itself to come and tell about the, how they are experiencing Krishna consciousness. He's making the people there itself to say why it is better than these drugs, LSD and other forms. So it's so beautiful it is. And this is like become my favorite thing also. So inspiring, no, for all of us. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Mataji.
so
Yes,
beautiful
Mataji.
to know all this. Read this book and we are getting to know so many things.
Recordings also, if I get as soon as possible. Those who have the books, you can read this and get inspired by these words. Then we will continue tomorrow. Please join again by 9 p.m. sharp. We will start our class. And I think maybe in another visualize, what exactly happened, how Srila Prabhupada, made these people devotees of Krishna, how Krishna consciousness started to spread faced, and how the initiation happened. It is so beautiful, no, for us to read and visualize how the initiation happened, them strumming those 108 beats, chanting Hare Krishna. And even when Damni Mataji read today that after the initiation, he gave a beautiful name to all those Westerners. So beautiful, no? All the names. Jagannatha, Hayagriva. So beautiful it was to visualize and hear to all of this. So Dhanvat pranams to all of you. Let's continue this association tomorrow, and we will see what is happening next. I'm also awaited to see the next part. So it's so very interesting. Thank you so much, everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai, jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dhanvi. Dhanvi Mataji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.